Through the stories shared on the show, you will find real-life triumphs of adversity.
Triumph and adversity, inspiration and motivation.
Grab a hold of your life.
Grab a hold.
It's time to be determined to set your goals and achieve them.
Achieve your goals.
Set your goals high.
Set them high.
Reach for Mars. If you land on the moon, it's still a huge moral victory.
Reach for Mars.
Get ready to be inspired on The Determined Show, hosted by Mark Garman.
The Determined Show.
What's up, everyone? Mark Garman here with Determined. We have a special guest tonight. As always, it's Michelle Jensen. She's going to be talking about her stroke journey tonight and how she has started to help the stroke community, actually. So she's already here. So without further ado, none of that stuff. So here is Michelle Jensen. Michelle, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the stroke community?
All right. So I had a stroke after a car accident when I was 25. So that is almost 11 years ago now. And
you are not 36. You are not 35. No way. Yeah. You look like you're 18. Come on now.
Oh my God, you just made my day.
I try to do that. I try. So go ahead.
Well, so I had a lot of other injuries besides the stroke, and looking back, I mean, I was in a nursing home for 7 months. I didn't walk for the first 5-6 months after my stroke. So by the time I walked, I kind of had use of my leg pretty good, kind of. It was a little slower, but otherwise it was basically my left arm and my left hand that are still what I'm working on personally. But
so when you got in the car accident and all that stuff, right? And just trying to figure out where the dang camera's at. There we go. So you got in the car accident and you had all these injuries. Did you have the stroke right away, or when did you have your stroke?
Right after the car accident, I was helicoptered to a trauma center, and they put me. Yeah, I don't remember things, so I can't tell you anything about what happened because I have no idea.
So this is just all what people told you.
Exactly. So I'm kind of bummed I don't remember the helicopter because that would have been pretty cool. But they put me in an induced coma for 2 weeks. And it was during that 2-week period that I had the stroke. So I don't know what day. I just know during that 2-week period, right after the car accident. So that's
So obviously, you got in the car accident, then you wake up from your coma, and from there, when you wake up from your coma, you couldn't move, right?
My left arm and hand, not at all.
Yeah. And that must have been one heck of a culture shock, because when I had my stroke, I went in for brain surgery, and I went in for brain surgery, and I was in a barbiturate coma for a month and a half. I was in a barbiturate coma for a month and a half, and I woke up from my coma, and boom, I couldn't move, I couldn't talk because I had the trach in, so. That was one heck of a culture shock, so I could imagine, especially if you don't remember anything from the car accident. So I'm assuming, you're driving. The last thing you remember would be what? You're driving, right?
I don't even remember that. I tried to figure out afterwards, and the last thing I remember was something that happened 2 or 3 weeks before the car accident.
Oh my
So
goodness! Wow.
there's like a whole 2 weeks before the accident that I don't remember. There's like a good 2, 3 weeks after the car accident that are really fuzzy for me. So I don't remember a lot. And like you, I couldn't talk when I woke up. I had to write everything down. Couldn't eat for 10 months. So that kind of wasn't fun.
So you had in, I think it's called a G tube. I'm not too sure. A feeding tube.
I had a G tube and a J
Yeah.
tube. So I had both of them because I kept getting nauseous and I would literally throw up, but out of that stomach tube.
Oh,
So it
wow.
was, yeah. And so I developed like gastroparesis, and it's a slow moving digestive system. And so that's what kept making me nauseous. They kept feeding me food, and food hadn't digested. So I would get sick and throw it up.
Oh wow. So do you have like certain allergies or whatever to food now because of that, or
I don't have
digestive
allergies,
problems now?
but there's food. Yeah, there's food I need to stay away from.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you so what did they tell you the type of stroke that you had? Is it an ischemic stroke?
It wasn't I can't say it, but it was
Right.
that sweet. It was that kind. Nobody actually told me, or if they did, I don't remember, and it's during that like time where I just don't remember anything. But it was a blood clot, so that part I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, during that time, what was so you said, if I recall correctly, you said that you were in you had your stroke, you had the coma, for 10 days, right? Or was it 10
2
days?
weeks, but yeah,
2 weeks. Yeah.
14
So,
days, yeah.
yeah. So, and then right after that, did you jump into rehab, or how did that work for you?
Nope, I had 2 broken femurs, a broken tibia. My right knee and my right ankle were pretty shattered, so they were both worked on. So I have plates and screws and rods everywhere.
Oh,
So I couldn't walk, I couldn't do anything. I don't remember anybody coming to work on my left side when I was in the hospital because I was in ICU for 2.5 months.
oh
So,
wow.
I was in the actual, like, hospital for a total of 3.5 months, and then they moved me to a nursing home, not a rehab facility. So I really didn't get I don't the stroke wasn't forefront of my care. It was the car accident.
Oh wow. So it was more or less like, let's focus on the broken bones, so to speak.
Yeah,
And
let's keep her alive, and we'll deal with that later.
but it sounds like, uh, from what you're saying, correct me if I'm wrong. It sounds like you were in the hospital for your for the car accident, and you said you went into a nursing home. Now,
Mhm.
why did they opt to put you in the nursing home?
I have no idea. I don't know if that's just the only place I could that had a bed. I have absolutely no idea. Now they did do therapy there. That's where I learned to walk again. They sent a speech therapist to work with me in the facility. Um, but as far as occupational therapy, the only thing I remember is after I learned to walk, they brought me into their therapy room. They filled a bucket with water. They asked me to stick my left hand in and tell them whether it was cold or hot. I said cold. but the water was hot. And so from that point, I don't remember them working with me at all. It was pretty shortly after that that I got to go home from the nursing home.
Wow. Now, so at this junction right now, what's the outcome from your stroke? Now, as far as the mobility with your leg, do you walk with a limp? Do you?
I do have a lamp, yes.
Yes.
Um,
But go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say the outcome is my left hand. So that's what it can do. All the fingers move together, and I can just open and close it, and I really can't move my thumb. So that's where I'm at with the stroke deficits.
Okay. And what about your left arm?
So the arm has pretty good range of motion. I really can't feel anything. Like me touching my arm, that's like it's like it's not happening. Like I know it's happening. So,
Mm,
but I don't feel it.
wow. And so you said the range of motion is there, and
Mhm.
what about the muscle tone of your left arm?
So that's what I personally have worked on shortly after my car accident. I not shortly, like I started walking a lot about 2 years after. I went to visit some family and they were in Colorado. So that's like all we did was walk trails and go hiking and see the mountains. And I just kind of it was just like a refreshing thing for me. And I was pretty depressed after the car accident. I mean, when therapists came to see me, I just sent them away. I didn't care. I didn't want to do anything.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of like an awakening kind of. And from that point on, I really just turned to exercise. And I started lifting weights about 4 years after the car accident. And so
Hmm.
the muscle tone, at one point, I had both biceps the same size. I was pretty proud of that, but I mean, it's not that way now because I broke I didn't work out for a while, but anyway, so I'm kind of back to square one, working at it.
And so you said that happened because you broke a bone in your arm, and that stopped the working out, or?
Well, so I broke my right wrist,
Yeah.
both the forearm bones. I broke them at the wrist joint.
Oh.
So that kind of stopped like everything for about 2.5 months.
Yeah.
But it took me about a month to get back into the swing of things, and now
Yeah.
I work out daily.
Yeah. And it is possible for the affected side to the muscle mass to get
Mm-hmm.
to the same size, because when I was so I had my stroke when I was 15, and I started
Oh,
working out really heavy when I was 18 or 19. I don't really
mhm.
recall what the age was, but it was somewhere around there. So I started working out with my dad really heavy. And I think at the time my left arm could only do probably like 5 pounds or something like that,
Yeah.
you know. And so if my left arm could only do 5 pounds, my right arm would only do 5 pounds, because I didn't want to look like a full-on fiddler crab. If my left arm can only do 5 pounds, and my right arm, my strong side, could do 25, I wasn't going to do 25 on my right arm, right? So, I would do 5 pounds on my left arm and 5 pounds
Mhm.
on my right arm, because my right arm still needed to get the exercise,
Right.
and, so I do the reps with my left hand, and I needed to make sure that I got the reps in, and that I got the form in, because form is important
That's
to, Yes, it's important to gain the muscle. The form is probably the most important thing. So I would use my good side to make sure that I had the form correct,
Mhm.
that I had the form correct with, doing the curl, so to speak,
Right.
and as much. So if I was doing 10 reps, as much as I could, I would let, my affected side do the curl, and eventually I was, if I recall correctly, I was up to like 25 pounds with each hand or each
Wow.
side, and I was benching probably like 200, 250. We'll just say 500 pounds, why not? But, I was benching a lot, and, but, my affected side was this pretty close to the same size as my right side, my non-affected side.
Right.
And, yeah, it was awesome, you know, and, yeah, so it's 100% possible. And as you
Yeah.
said, you were there, you know, you were there where your affected side was, this almost close to the same size as
Yeah.
your non-affected side. So let me ask you this, because, you said that your hand, right, you're having issues with your hand.
Right.
Now, as I was saying, I was lifting heavy weights. So obviously my grip strength is not as strong.
Mhm.
So if I couldn't hold the weight, what I did is I got one of those straps that go around your wrist and I wrapped it around to help hold the weight.
Yep.
Eventually, that helped with the grip strength. But it's also, so I wouldn't drop the weight. So
Mhm.
what are you finding that's helping with you to with your therapy with your hand?
So I like the gripper thing, that
Yeah,
you squeeze. I don't have it right next to me, but I mean, I think we've all used that in
yeah,
therapy.
yeah,
And just holding the weights to lift weights is working your grip strength.
yeah.
Um, and I'm sure you're like me, you've dropped your fair share of weights while
Oh
doing
yeah.
a exercise.
Mhm.
Um, but the gripper is something that I really like. Um, and the pegboard is something that I is like my nemesis for my left hand. Those darn pegs are just annoying.
Right. Yeah. I think I said it on a previous show. There's all sorts of things like around the house that
Mhm.
that you can just find and use for physical therapy. I'm
Yeah.
gonna maybe you can jump in as well. It's gonna obviously be the same thing that I used in the video before because I'm in the same spot. But for instance, I have this pencil holder here.
Mhm.
So you put pencils in it and you take the affected side and you work on grabbing the pencil individually, right?
Yes.
And then put it on the desk and pick up the pencil individually and work on turning your hand and putting it back in, right? So you
Right.
have all sorts of things that are just around the house
Mhm.
that you can use for, physical therapy. Here's another one that I have here, and it's this coat rack right here, and you could have this coat rack, and it's even, you can just take a shirt, right? Just take a shirt, a button up shirt, whatever, and
Yeah.
go with your affected hand and go to, hang it up on the peg or whatever,
Right.
So, you just have to, think outside the box on what to do for physical therapy. So why don't you go ahead and grab something that's right there next to you, Michelle?
So
And
right here next to me, I happen to have a hanger. So I
boom.
bought these off Amazon, and I just practice. I hold the hanger. I also have hooks here that I hang the hanger on the wall. And
Yeah.
I just grab these and take them off, and ooh, this is a lot, and put it back on.
Yeah.
And so, and I like to cook. And another thing that I do is like say I'm baking a spaghetti squash. Uh, to make it into the spaghetti, like you have to scrape the squash insides. So I will do that with my left hand instead of my right hand.
Oh, there you go.
Um, so there's just little things like that. Maybe eating is a really, really good therapy that everybody eats at least 3 times a day. And if you use your left hand to feed yourself, you're working on that wrist like motion, and you're working on grip strength, like fine tuning your grip strength, your finger strength. Like after breaking my wrist, I realized how many muscles are in these fingers.
Mhm.
Just trying to use my hand afterwards, it hurt so bad. Those muscles were so sore because they hadn't been used. And eating is such a good way to work those muscles in those fingers and get it stronger.
Yeah. So now you're pointing out all these things that you can do with your affected side.
Mhm.
So why don't you go ahead and share with, actually, not quite yet. So let's go back to, we'll jump into that in a second. But
Okay.
let's go back to the when you had your stroke. What are during that time frame, the stroke, the rehab, and all that stuff? Um, who were your biggest supporters during that time frame?
My parents.
Your
My
parents?
mom would come up to once I started feeling better and a little bit more social, because I used to just I when people came to visit, I would just pretend I was sleeping so I didn't have to deal with it. Um,
Yeah.
but once I started to get more social, I would call my mom. She would work all day, and then she would come sit next to my bedside in the nursing home, and we would just watch stupid TV shows together. And it just was like the best part of my day. And she used to take me out for ice cream when I was allowed to start like taking little outings. And
Yeah.
so my mom was my biggest support. She still is my biggest support. If I don't call her 30 times a day, there's something wrong with me.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. Yeah. Family is definitely a huge deal for myself as well. I have, my siblings that are, rock solid for me during, they were obviously too young when I was 15, but during my time frame, I had my best friend's mom worked right pretty close to where my rehab was.
Right.
And she would come almost every day right after work and
Yes.
come in, see me and whatnot. And yeah, it's definitely, uplifting to know that, when you get those visits, that someone cares enough, to come and see you and whatnot. Yeah.
And like, yeah, when you and I are in the rehab facility, we don't realize. I mean, we know it, but at least I just didn't think about like she worked this whole day, and then she drove 25 minutes to my rehab facility to see me. They used to drive like an hour to the hospital to visit me, and it's they our support system goes through so much when we're going through our stuff, and but they're still, like you said, rock solid for us. Like I have to have my mom.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Now, what? Now let's jump back to what we were talking about before. So you were talking about all the stuff that the fine tuning
Mhm.
therapy that you do and whatnot. So you have a social group on Facebook.
Mhm.
What's the social group called?
So it's called the Stroke Sweat Squad, and it's just a group of stroke survivors that are moving, who want to move, who are trying to move every day. And I call everything a workout, but like our therapy is a workout. I mean, just going to take a shower, that is so tiring right after your stroke. That's a workout. And so it's just the little things that we do every day that we should be proud of that we're achieving. And that's what this group is highlighting. It's just everybody's daily accomplishment. We're all at different levels, so our accomplishments are going to be different, but they need to be celebrated just the same. And we can't waste time not doing our therapy because I did a lot of that and I regret it, and I just want people to know how important it is with the
100%.
therapy and the time.
Yeah, and also, your group is also a great support system because uh, approximately how many members do you have in your group? Do you know?
So we have about 1,500.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's growing. We've been on Facebook for this August will be 2 years.
Nice. Yeah. So, it's great too, because, 1,500 people on there. And then, you have that support system as well. So,
Mhm.
you post something on there and whatnot. And, not necessarily that, you're having a bad day or, that say, that you fell or that you're having trouble with, doing your grip strength or,
Mhm.
touching your finger to your thumb to your pinky, how do I fix that? How do I make that better? And
Yeah.
you have yourself, not only yourself who is, trying to show people how to do that, how to work on that, but you also have a lot of people in that group who are also striving to do that as well. So
Mhm.
they can chime in and help people on how to do that.
Yeah.
So
John Loomis is a moderator in the group, and I think he's been to every stroke study that he can go to in Indiana, and he has so much knowledge and he shares that knowledge. And that's another good thing about the group is we all went through some sort of therapy and we all have little tidbits to share because each therapist is different and they all have different ideas, and all those ideas are valid and they need to be tried because what works for me may not work for you as far as therapy exercises go. But having all those different viewpoints gives you a lot of options to see what might work for you.
100%, 100%. And, that's one of the reasons, that I started this whole thing is because I wanted to let the survivor know that they're not alone in this journey. And that's why I bring on different people who have gone through what essentially you and I have gone through. Because as you said, my journey is not the same as your journey. And I want other people to be able to connect with whoever I bring on and say, wow, if Michelle has gone through a car accident, broken almost every bone in her body, and had a stroke, in a coma for 2 weeks, and I pretty much went through almost the same thing.
Right.
If she can get through it, and they're struggling in their current situation, and this is why I bring on different people, to help reach those type of people that are struggling.
Yes. It's so needed. What you're doing is so needed, because I don't know about you, but I was depressed afterwards. I didn't want to participate in life. I didn't care. Like, in my mind, my life was over. And so if you and I can have that moment and come to where we are now, but then go back to that moment and connect with somebody else and help them through that, it's an amazing thing. And we're all here for each other. Supporting each other is also supporting us in our journey.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm sure you get the same thing as well. When someone reaches out to you and says, Michelle, thank you so much for sharing that with me. It helped me so much. That gives you that gratification that, hey, you know what? I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. I just helped that person, and that gives you that heartfelt gratification, and that's just what you said, that we're helping at least one person, but we're striving for it to be multiple people. But if we know that we at least help one person, it just touches our heart and makes us, feel good inside.
Yeah, and keep going.
100%.
To reach everybody and to help everybody.
Yeah.
Or everyone we can. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, hey, there we go. So let's throw up some comments real quick. This is who I had on. This is who I had on last week.
Oh, yes. I saw some of that. I didn't see the whole thing, forgive me, but I did see some of it.
Yeah. So she's saying hi to everyone in the comments and hi to you as well.
Hi.
And then here's salute.
Aloha.
Aloha. Salute. Yep. And then Naomi saying hi. And then this is my aunt right here.
Oh, cool. Hi.
This all the comments. We get some viewers that don't partake in commenting, like my wife. She'll comment sometime, but anyways. So I lost my train of thought. Help me remember where we were at.
If I help you, it's helping me too.
Yeah. So
what else do you want to ask me?
And then we have there we go. Here's all the comments coming in. They want their and then we have here's the lady right here. This is the lady that would come and visit me when she got off work.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, and she's still supporting you. That's so awesome.
She is my second mama. Yeah, she is my second mama. I love that lady so much. She is my second mama. Awesome. Yeah. She's been there with me, been there for me since day one. Yep. Just love that lady so much. But so yeah, tell me what else you have been up to since your stroke?
As far as in the stroke community or my personal like since
Both.
my stroke I've run th- 4 half marathons.
What?
I didn't run the whole time,
Yeah.
but I did finish. And one of them, my mom was with me, and we crossed the finish line together, which was really special.
Yeah.
And she's gonna come do another one with me. I'm gonna make her.
Nice.
And so I've done that, which was I really love getting out and walking and trying to run. And so I exercise daily. I think I said that. And in the stroke community, I do little exercise videos. It's what I'm doing and what has helped me in the past, and I'm just putting it out there. So if it works for anybody, that's what I want.
Yeah. And so shoot. So do you have any concluding thoughts for do you have any concluding thoughts for the community?
Just that if you need any support, there are groups on Facebook, and reach out because somebody knows what you're going through. It may not be the exact situation, but there's a survivor out there who knows exactly what you're going through and can help you through it, because that's what we need, support. Just like your best friend's mom was there for you, she's still there for you, and it's that support that we need. And so if anybody needs help, just reach out. You can definitely find help in my group. There's some amazing, amazing people who are just there to support each other. And that's my main goal in all of this, is just to help anybody. And I'm gonna say one thing about therapy and exercise. It's so important. It can help you in ways that you don't even know yet. It's got the happy hormone that you get when you exercise, so it helped me through depression. And so I'm just gonna say something about therapy and exercise. Give it a shot and do your therapy, because time is so valuable after a stroke. I know, because I wasted way too much of it, and I just want everybody to I know it's hard to do therapy. I know it's hard to get the motivation, but it's so important. And reach out, go to the Stroke Squad, and see what everybody's up to, and let us know what you're up to.
Yeah, and one thing that I say about therapy with someone that is a stroke survivor, it's kind of like, obviously it's different when you've had a stroke, and it's kind of like the way that I correlate it is someone that's trying to lose weight, right? Someone that's on a diet and they're trying to lose weight, they don't see the results at first, right? And they don't see the results at first. The only way that they see the results is when they jump on the scale, right? And they need to continue to diet, and then eventually, as they continue to diet and they keep going on the diet, that's when they finally start to see the results, right? So that's one of the ways that I, can correlate, how the therapy works with a stroke survivor. You have to continue to do the therapy because the results come slowly. As when you first had your stroke, like that's when like when you first had your stroke and you started doing the rehab, that's when like you started seeing like the most results,
Right.
the most improvement in your rehab. So, they, as Dr. Olivo, I don't know if you saw that one, he said that there's no such thing as a plateau. He said that there's no such thing as a plateau, because a lot of people say that they have plateaued in their therapy, or that doctors or therapists have told them that they have plateaued in their therapy. But Dr. Olivo said that there's no such thing as a plateau. It's all in your head, because, and it's the same. So that's why I correlated to weight loss, so you go in, and I kind of said it wrong about the weight loss. So you go in to a diet and you lose all the weight kind of like at first. And then once you kind of stop losing weight, so like I said it wrong. So once you stop losing weight, you feel like, okay, my diet's over. I'm done. I'm not losing any more weight. I need to stop doing my diet. It's not working anymore. But no, you got to keep on doing the diet. You're just not losing as much weight as before. You keep doing the diet. So with the therapy, that's the same way. You first had your stroke, you're doing the therapy, you saw the most results. Now it's time to continue doing the therapy, continue working on the small motor skills, and if you're walking, the small fine-tuned motor skills, and you're going to see results. So it's the other people that see the results, right? So when you're losing weight, when you're losing the weight and you see someone a month later, you're like, wow, Michelle, wow, Mark, you lost so much weight. And you're like, I did?
Yeah.
I don't feel like I did. You're like, yeah, you look so much skinnier. So, other people see the results, but you don't see the results because you see yourself every day, right? So now that, you're doing the therapy and the results are so minute, but there's still results.
But overall, it adds up. I love the diet example, the weight loss example. They say like it takes 4 weeks for something, and then 8 weeks for it takes 4 weeks for other people to notice. It takes 8 weeks for something, and then it takes 12 weeks for you to notice. Yeah. Because you see yourself every day, and like you said, with therapy, the results are so minute. You have to look at the grand scheme of things. And I just did a blog post on keeping track of like the little things, so that way when you feel like you've plateaued and you feel like this isn't working anymore, I'm not getting better, you can go back and look at that and say, oh, well, I guess I have gotten better since then. And maybe that'll give you the drive to keep going.
Yeah, 100%. Now, so I heard you say a blog. So you also have a blog as well?
Oh, yeah. So I have a blog. It's called exercisefortherapy.com. And I do a weekly post. It's usually about exercise and therapy. And my last post was all about motivation. Before that, I think it was about tracking our results, so that way we can feel like we've accomplished something and give us that drive to keep going, because therapy is just so hard to do. And sometimes somebody saying just do it is that, I mean, that doesn't work for me. Yeah, okay, I'll just go do it, okay? And that's not helping. So sometimes you need somebody in your corner who knows what it's like, who knows it's not easy, and who knows how it feels. And so if it, I kind of put that all out there in the blog.
Yeah. Now, in the blog, I'm honestly not too familiar with it. So how blogs work? Is it kind of like a forum where people can go in and respond and
Yeah,
communicate? Yeah.
there's a comment section. So far, I'm kind of new at it. I've been doing it since like the first of the year. And so it's I'm gaining viewers. I really want to gain everybody because I just want to reach everybody. I want to help everybody and anybody. I want to be there for anybody
Nice,
because
nice.
it's hard.
Yeah. And so you gave and I'll post your group,
Okay.
your
Yeah.
YouTube channel to your exercises,
Yeah.
your blog. I'll post all that. I'll link it in the description once I upload the video to YouTube. So I lost my train of thought. My kid came out and made a noise. It distracted me. But shoot, I lost my train of thought. But
You just said you're gonna once you post it to YouTube, you're gonna upload and then post stuff to YouTube. And then what do you do?
yeah, I lost my train of thought. I don't even remember anymore. But anyways, so yeah. Shoot, I lost my train of thought. But anyways, so yeah, that's what's going on with that. But
live TV, right?
I know, right? Boom.
It happens.
Boom. It does. Okay, so we definitely went on and crushed it there. You know, I asked you for your concluding thoughts, and we were able to extend it another 10 minutes. So, good job on you. And
Is that a good thing? I hope so.
oh yeah, that was solid. That was solid. So as Naomi said right here, look, we all have it. Boom, stroke
Yes,
brain.
exactly. The memory sucks.
It does, 100%. It
It
does. I have the worst
memory is gone.
Right. I'll tell you a funny story real quick. My wife, like, I was standing in the kitchen and I was over by the sink, and my wife was like, my short-term memory is the worst. My wife was like, hey, can you take out the trash? And I said, yeah, sure. And I probably stood there for like 20 seconds. And then I just walked right by the trash because I forgot.
Yeah. It happens all the time. I mean, you walk into a room because you wanted something and you're like, why did I come in here? And
Right.
or like, when I think of something and I don't have anything to write it down, I mean, I write down everything. And when I don't have access to something to write it down, I repeat it over and over in my head just so I can remember it until I can write it down. But I put it everywhere.
Yeah. I honestly, I went on to get my MBA,
Yeah.
my master's in business, and I honestly, with how bad my memory is, I honestly don't know how I accomplished that.
Yeah.
I think I discovered unconscious studying, and that is, I would repeat into. So one thing that we do remember is songs, right?
Yes.
So you can remember a song, right?
Yeah.
So what I did is I would take my notes, right? And I would use Audacity, the program called Audacity. And so I would take my notes and I would read them, all my notes, and I would lay them out on Audacity.
Okay.
Then I would take a beat to a song and I would lay out the beat.
I
And
love
so
that.
all of my notes were now in the background of a beat, right? So then I would just listen to it on the beat, right? All of my notes. And then eventually, I'd be like, kind of like singing, you know, my name, whatever, whatever the notes were,
Right.
to
No, that's so
the beat.
awesome. I love that. I wish I
And
knew
then,
that when I was doing my bachelor's.
yeah. And then I would also listen to it on repeat while I was sleeping.
That's
So,
it's like osmosis or however that happens. It's
yeah,
a good thing.
yeah. So when you're sleeping, you listen to it and and it's kind of like in the background, obviously, you're sleeping and you wake up in the morning and it's just like almost like, you're saying out of the blue, like the great
Yeah.
American philosopher William James, act as if you do what makes a difference it does,
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
No, you wake up like with a song in your head and it's like your notes. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was actually I had the Audacity program on my computer and I would make, instead of like doing like just a regular final, I was like kind of over the top with my finals. So when we had have like a group project, I'd always be the group leader because I wasn't going to rely on other people for my grade.
Yeah.
So I would say, hey, all right, so this is how it's going to go down. This is what you're going to do. 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 So we would always make a video of our group projects. So I have another YouTube channel, which unfortunately I wasn't able to link to this one. Very sad about it. But so I have another YouTube channel where like there's a whole bunch of my college finals on there, and we would make a video of our finals, and I would call the people in my class and record their voice over the phone, and we would just make a video of our finals. So that's how I came up with the idea of the unconscious sleeping or whatever.
That's
Through
awesome.
Audacity. Yeah.
It works. I mean, it works. I've never tried it, but I've definitely heard good things about doing that. And so I think that's so awesome. I wish, I had the same thought when I got my bachelor's. It was after my stroke, and I don't know how I made it through my classes. I mean, I have an engineering degree, and I don't know how I did it. No idea.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. 100%. And this is Sherry said, I'm reading out loud. It's working.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I noticed too that since my stroke that, because when you read, there's two different types of reading. There's one where you can, they call it speed reading. You can kind of just like skim over the words and read it, and then there's another one where you like have to actually like read the words.
Right.
And most people don't read the words. Like if I want to understand what's going on like in the book or whatever, like I have to like actually read the words, like the cat is red, instead of just like skimming over the words,
Right.
And I'm sure that it has something to do with my stroke, and so yeah, reading is obviously slower for me since my stroke.
Me too. Like I will read a page of a book, and if I'm not actually reading the words, like I'll just like if I'm not actually thinking about the book, like if my mind like trail to something else, I will have to go reread like the whole page or so I actually have to reread as well. I just started using this app called I'm doing blog posts soon about the 5 apps I'm using right now, and one of them is Elevate, and it's like trying to get you better about thinking about things in your head and figuring it out. And one of the things is speed reading and skimming and there's massive fractions and but anyway I it just came to my mind because we started talking about reading, but so I'm doing that daily. I'm gonna see if it helps.
So there's another thing that one of my professors taught me is if you read the opening sentence of a paragraph and you read the concluding sentence of a paragraph, you pretty much know what that whole paragraph is about.
Usually, yeah.
Yeah. So as someone who needs to quote unquote actually like read and remember what they're reading, that was another thing that I would do. I would read the opening sentence of the paragraph, read the concluding sentence of the paragraph, gain an understanding of what the paragraph was about, then read the whole paragraph.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. So, hey, Jerry, what's up, buddy?
There's Jerry. Hey.
Well, we had an awesome show, Michelle. We talked about a whole bunch of stuff, not only your stroke,
random stuff.
Yeah, just random stuff, but it was all, stuff that that could definitely help the community, the reading, all that other stuff, and it was awesome. It was awesome to finally see you face to face, so to speak, virtually,
Yeah.
And with that being said, I conclude all my shows with prayers. So let's go ahead and do it.
Okay.
All right. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing Michelle into my life and having us join forces on the show so that we can share her testimony and hopefully have her testimony reach others that need to be reached and bring inspiration and hope into their lives so that they can pursue their therapy and gain inspiration and determination to reach their goals. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much for having me. It was so good to finally just like have a conversation, like face to face. And it would be awesome if we could help others out there with just our conversation.
Yeah, 100% for sure. All right, don't jump off yet, but I'm gonna end the stream. Okay.
Okay.